Hi, good evening, everyone. My name is Dr. Robin Tozan. I am here tonight we're going to have a conversation about health and our hormones and stress and all that fun stuff. So, welcome. Thanks for being here. If you guys want to say hello in the chat and let me know where you're watching from, that would be great. Wonderful. So you may be wondering if you're in the right place, if you're experiencing any health issues, and that can be menopausal symptoms, that can be problems with hormone balancing, it could be thyroid issues or rheumatoid arthritis, fibromyalgia. If you're experiencing any of those issues, anything with your health, this is a great place for you. If you're not experiencing any health problems and you're just here for information, we love to have you. Awesome. So, say hello in the chat. You can tell us where you're watching from. That would be great. So, and some of you may be here because you have symptoms. You know you're not feeling as good as you know you should. You know you don't feel like yourself anymore. You know something's wrong, and you keep going to the doctor, and they do a lot of tests, and they say, you're fine. Nothing's wrong with you. It's all in your head. Right? How many times are we being told that? So that happens a lot too. So if that's happening to you, this is a great place to be. So I do like for people to put in the chat and let me know what you're experiencing. Because I do this I do, some webinar like this a lot. And so I like to know who's on. Sometimes we have a lot of people with menopausal issues. Sometimes a lot of people with weight gain and obesity or fatigue, and sometimes it's a lot of people with autoimmune. So if you guys want to just put in the chat and let me know, and then that way I can bring that into the webinar, and I'll talk about that more, what you guys have specifically. So awesome. All right, we're going to get into things. So my name is Dr. Robin Tozan, and I'm a naturopathic doctor. So just so you know a little bit about me and who I am, I have had my own fair share of health issues. Let me tell you. So it's probably led me down the path it's led me down the path that I'm on. But yeah, I started having health issues when I was a kid. I started with like eczema and hives when I was a baby. Like at 3 years old, they told me I was allergic to vitamin C and I wasn't allowed to have any Tang. I would sneak and get the jar of Tang and like eat it out the jar, and then I would have rashes all over my body the next day. I was a great kid. But anyway, so I had these issues, and as I got a little older in elementary school, it started with the gut issues. And then I started having like diarrhea and like really bad cramping, IBS type stuff. You never knew when that was going to hit. I needed to be in their bathroom all the time. And then it just snowballed. But what we know now, we know I have what's called MCAS syndrome. It's mast cell activation syndrome. They didn't know that back then. And so it's no fun. It's kind of like an autoimmune condition where you get these flares. You don't know what's causing it. Not fun at all. Anyway, so that's what I was dealing with. And so when I was 15, they said, we're going to solve all your problems and put you on birth control pills. So that's what they did, and I believed them. I thought everything was going to be great after I got put on the pill. And I was on that for like 10 years. That caused a whole lot more problems after I got off of that. So yeah, I wasn't getting helped. I was not getting helped. I was still suffering. As I got older, when I was in college, I went to several doctors because I knew somebody has to help me. There has to be somebody out there who can help me. I don't think I'm put on this earth to just suffer with health issues my whole life. And so the first doctor put me on pills. I broke out in hives. So couldn't take pills, which was probably a good thing. The last doctor basically told me I was crazy. Go see a psychiatrist. It's all in my head. So I did. I went to see a psychiatrist. And I'm like, please help me. And the psychiatrist basically kicked me out of his office and told me, go away. There's nothing he can do for me. So as you can see, I was getting no help. I got pushed through the cracks all the time, suffering, didn't get any help. And it wasn't until I was a little bit older when I found out about naturopathic medicine. I was in my later 20s because I kept searching. I knew something had to be out there that could help me. And so I kept searching. I found naturopathic medicine. And it was the first time I had a doctor who actually listened to me and said, Robin, you're not crazy. Uh, and it was the first time I ever had anybody help me. And it was the first time I had somebody who suggested, hey, maybe let's change your diet a little bit. So, of course, I became one because I got so much better. Not that I didn't have more health issues later on in life, but I did get better. And so I'm out here kind of screaming at the top of my lungs that there's another way. You don't have to just take the pills, right? You can actually heal yourself, especially for people who are being told it's all in our head and nothing's wrong with us. So frustrating. So anyway, so just a little bit about me so you know who I am. And so I have a little clinic. It's in Westminster, Arvada area. And it's a little when you come see me, like say you have high blood pressure. You go to see an MD, you have high blood pressure. The MD is going to say, you have high blood pressure. Here's a pill. Great. You take the pill. It brings your blood pressure down for most people. Some people it doesn't, but for most people. And so wonderful. You're not going to have a stroke. You're not going to have a heart attack today, but it doesn't cure. It's not like you take the pill and a week later you're cured and you never have to take those pills again. No, now you have to keep taking that pill for the rest of life. Why? It's not curing you. It's just it's forcing your blood pressure down. It's suppressing your symptoms. So it's one way of doing things and going about things. Now, if you have high blood pressure, you come see me. I'm going to start asking, why does this person have high blood pressure? Is there an issue in the kidney? Is the liver having dysfunction? Is there garbage in the blood that shouldn't be in there, like toxins? Is there inflammation in the arteries? Because all of those reasons can cause high blood pressure. And I'm going to start to work on those underlying causes. And as I do that, what happens when I start treating people is usually within a week or two, their pressure starts coming down naturally, and we get them to a place where you don't have to take those pills anymore. So it's a little bit different, but that's what you'll experience if you come in sometime. And just to tell you about these guys real quick, the guy with the dogs, that's my dad. He was very, very skeptical about what I did. He didn't know, he had never heard of naturopathic medicine, and that was not something he was into. He was brought up to believe you listen to doctors and do what the doctors say. So he was on hypertensive meds, and he was on statins for cholesterol. And when I'm like, hey, Dad, let's do a health program with you and change your diet and stuff. And he told me, absolutely not. No, he was not interested. His doctor said he needs to take the pills, and that's what he's going to do. So I just left that alone. I'm like, okay. Now, the other guy, that's my grandfather. He had prostate cancer, and he spent the last 7 months of his life in a hospital where he went in. He seemed fine, went in, and then they just put him on pain meds, and he quit getting up. And he would just lay in the bed, and we'd go visit. He wouldn't get up to eat. He wouldn't get up to use the bathroom. He just laid there, and he just kind of started losing all his weight and became a skeleton, and then he died. And that was really hard because at the same time, I was a candy striper in that hospital, and a little volunteer. I think it was 15 or 16. And after my shift, I would go see him because my mom was staying with him. And so I saw all this happen, and nobody wants to watch their loved ones die in a hospital bed and suffer, right? And he's probably lucky because it was only 6 or 7 months. Some people, it's a year or two, and none of us want to watch that with our loved ones, and none of us experience that. None of us want to go through that, but that happens, and that is directly tied into our health. Unfortunately, our health when we're younger and how we do ourselves. So I'm going to get back to the story a little bit later, but let's jump into tonight. So what I'm going to cover tonight, I'm going to talk about America's healthcare crisis, and then I'm going to talk about stress hormones and health, and then we're going to talk about that underlying cause that I was mentioning a minute ago, and then we'll talk about how to take action to protect your health naturally. And then if what I say resonates with you and you think you might want to talk to me and maybe want to work with me, at the end, I'm going to put up a link for a free 15-minute call with me, and we can jump on the phone and see if I can help you. So that's where we're going. All right. So this training is for you if you are feeling overwhelmed and exhausted, if you're not feeling as good as you know you should, if you know you've got to do things differently but aren't confident how, if you realize health doesn't come in a bottle or a magic pill, and if you're willing to take ownership of your health, because this is important, guys, because we are here, we're frustrated. This is where a lot of people are. We're frustrated, we're not getting help, and we're suffering. And then a lot of us are here, like my grandfather. This is where we end up. Now, we end up here. I'm going to tell you why I think we end up here. We live in a culture where health is not our number one priority, and it should be. It's not. And you don't learn it. We take it for granted until we're old, lose it. And you don't learn that till you lose it, which is unfortunate. Health is so important. But this is just how we are, right? We're brought up to believe, don't worry about your health. Whatever happens, you can go to the insurance. You can go to your, if you get sick, you go to your doctor, you pay your insurance, and then the doctor will fix you. And that's not what's happening, right? Unfortunately. And so we just don't make health a priority until we're here. And we have so many other priorities, right? Especially women. I know there's a lot of women on this call as mothers and wives. We have all this other stuff to do. We got to take care of the kids. We got to make dinner. We got to take care of our job. We got to take care of our spouse. We got to take care of school. We got to finish. We have all these other things. And then there's health. So we start getting these symptoms, right? We start gaining weight. We start not being able to go to the bathroom. We start losing our hair. We're exhausted. And we go to the doctor, or usually we don't go to the doctor, right? What do? We put it on the back burner. We say, okay, I'm not feeling good, but I have these other 10 things that I got to take care of. And so my health has to go back here till I have time to take care of it. We never have time to take care of it until we end up in the hospital. That's the problem, right? What do we all want on this call? What does everybody on this call have in common? We all want to have a really long life and a short death. That's what everybody on this call wants. Nobody wants to have a short life and a long drawn out death. Nobody. Okay. I think I could speak for everybody on that point. But what are we seeing these days? And maybe I'm biased, but I do see a lot of people, they're not living. They're exhausted. They're in pain. I see a lot of sick people. So I do see a lot of people who are suffering, and nobody wants that. It's not fun, but this is where we are. And then we have these crazy, ridiculous hospital bills. I'm sure I don't have to get into that too much. I'm sure you've heard the horror stories or experienced this yourself. It's ridiculous these days. I don't even want to talk about it. That's how bad it is. And then a lot of us are here, and you guys can put in the chat, do you think this is common or uncommon to be on 2, 3, 4 medications? Is that common or uncommon to you? Now, please don't get me wrong. I'm not putting our whole medical industry down. We have some really great things about our medical industry. If you have an emergency, get to the emergency room. They will save your life. They are really awesome at doing that. We have amazing surgeons who, if you need to have a surgery and get something, a surgery, amazing surgeons we have. We also have really great diagnostics. The testing is really good for the most part. They can usually figure out what's wrong. It's when it comes to chronic disease, obesity, thyroid issues, right? Autoimmune conditions, things like that, heart disease. That's where our medical system's failing us, because it's all about the pills. And if the pills cured us, I would say go take a pill, cure you, boom, be done. That's not what's happening. What are the pills doing? The pills are managing our symptoms. They're suppressing. And what ends up happening is you take a pill and then you start having these side effects. And then 3, 4, 5 years down the line from taking that pill, you got to take another pill for the side effects you got from the first pill. So example, high blood pressure meds. You take high blood pressure med. The biggest thing we see after 4 or 5 years on high blood pressure, what's the big side effect? High cholesterol. Pill number 2, in comes the statin. Now we got to take the high blood pressure med and the statin. Now we're on these 2 drugs. And then we have to take, what's the big side effect of statins in 4 or 5 years? Then you get diabetes. And now you're on metformin. You got to add metformin as the number 3 drug because the statins are causing diabetes. And this is very well known in the literature. But no doctors talk about this, right? They don't talk about how we're causing diabetes in our patients from the pills they're taking. This is what's happening. And people don't know about this. And so really we need to kind of open our eyes. If you really want to heal and you can cure your body and you can heal, but you can't do it with the pills. Okay, you got to do a different route. This is what I call America's healthcare crisis. We're spending unacceptable costs and we're getting unacceptable outcomes. We spend $3.5 trillion annually on healthcare. That is a lot of freaking money. We spend all this money more than any other country. We should be number one in health. We should all be healthy and happy and full of energy. Is that what we see? Right? 90% is spent on health conditions. Chronic health conditions usually easily reversed with diet and lifestyle, from what I see, right? We spend double the amount of any other developed nation. 70% of all the deaths is caused by the top 5 chronic diseases. Again, chronic disease that's easily reversed through diet and lifestyle changes. Then the U.S. is ranked 37 out of 40, guys, in health. That's horrible. We spend the most money of any country. We're not number one in health. We're number 37 out of 40. I can't believe there's 2 countries worse than us. Or 3, we're really low on the totem pole, guys. Do you see the disconnect that's happening? What is happening here? This is not good. We're suffering. We can't go to the bathroom, or we have too much. We're going diarrhea. We're tired all the time, depressed, anxiety through the roof, right? We have insomnia. We're tired, I'll get up. And then by nighttime, we're like, ding, 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 ding. Can't go to sleep, right? Does that sound familiar? And then having mood swings, being emotional, right? Happening a lot. And then weight gain. Number 1, weight gain and fatigue are the 2 top things I see in most people. Everybody's overweight these days. It's very rare to find skinny people. Unless they're starving themselves, because there's reasons, and I'll get into. But we're suffering with all these things. This is a patient of mine. She came in. She had all the things that I just listed. She was not doing good, though. She was having anxiety attacks, panic attacks, 5 times a day. 5 times. If you've ever had one or seen somebody, they are awful. You cannot function. And she couldn't function. She's going to her doctors for 2 years with this happening, and they're telling her it's all in your head. Nothing's wrong with you. And she's, she had to quit school, couldn't go to school anymore, couldn't finish school, and had to quit work and could barely take care of her new kid. So she reaches out to me because she's like, I need help and I need to try something different. And I said, not a problem. Come in. I took her case and I said, I think you have Lyme disease. That's pretty serious. And so we started treating her for Lyme. And within 2 to 3 weeks, she called me, no more panic attacks. No more freaking panic attacks within 2 to 3 weeks. How about that, right? And then I kept working with her on the other stuff. She's done amazing. She went back to school, finished. She's back at work. She has her whole life back. She pops in once a year, every year, just to tell me how good she's doing. I mean, doing amazing. And really, this is what I love what I do, because I see people get their whole life back and have this huge health transformation. But yeah, she thought she was going to be like that for the rest of her life. And so I'm telling you this story too, because so you understand, yeah, things happen. You may have things you never think are better, and you will see them get better if you take the right steps, right? So this is what I call the stick care model. A lot of it's because of wrong information and lacking, okay? And we have a disconnect here. This is the one to change about our medical system. The biggest thing, our medical system, their priority is not on getting the patient better. It is making sure they make enough money. And they want to make sure their shareholders are happy. They get on the news. They're not shy about it. This is where we're at, guys. Let's just change this one thing. Let's put the priority back on getting the patient better. We will have a much different system. Okay. And yes, crisis happens. Things happen out of our control. Unfortunately, that does happen. It doesn't happen because we're bad people, right? Bad things happen because that's how we grow. We need to be challenged. You don't grow if you stay the same. Okay, so these bad things happen. So what we need to do is say, what is the lesson here? What is the lesson? And people got the lesson. We are not in good health. We are, as a country, we are not in good health. We're in very bad health, and we need to fix that. And it's not happening with the pills, unfortunately. So, because life is about living, right? Life is about grabbing the bull by the horns and riding it. That's what life's about. Life's not about just getting by and trying to survive, which a lot of people are doing. A lot of people are just getting by and trying to survive, right? So, oh, hi, Robin. There's a Robin out there. I usually try to be about 45 minutes. Sometimes I go a little bit over depending on, if there's a lot of interaction and stuff, but it should be about 45 minutes. So, yes, that's where we are, guys. So, yes, there's things we don't have control over, but there's a whole lot we do have control over. What can everybody on this call do? You can all be proactive and take care of your health. You can consider food as medicine to heal the body. You can address your blood sugar imbalance. You can improve your heart health. You can boost your immune system. You can minimize inflammation. You can calm your autoimmunity, and you balance your hormones. Every single one of you on this call can do this. How do I know? I teach people how to do this every day, and I've done this with myself. And let me tell you, I don't have something special. I don't have something you don't have. Okay. I didn't grow up with awesome hippie parents who taught me how to be healthy. I grew up with parents who were feeding me fried foods and didn't know what a vegetable was, and Coca-Cola all day and sugar. You wonder why I had health issues, right? But yeah, there's things that we can do, and it doesn't take a lot, guys. It really doesn't. We look at change like this, but it really doesn't take that much. I had people come to me time, they're like, that was so much easier than I thought it was going to be. And I'm like, I know, right? And you get this amazing health from it. So, and this is the answers. This is what we do. This is how we get nutrition, hormones, fitness, mentoring, and detox. I'm going to come back to this in just a few minutes. How do we get here, guys? How do we get to this place where we're all suffering? We're not feeling good. We're not getting help. What is the biggest underlying cause? The biggest underlying is stress all day. And there's different kinds of stress. What does stress do? It weakens your system and leaves you with disease. Yes, this is what stress does. It causes inflammation in the system, right? So there's the mental, emotional stress that we all know so well. The pressure from our job, our finances, dealing with angry people, dealing with conflict, right? Very stressful. Then there's the physical stress. Getting a concussion that will change your life. Getting into an accident. If so many people tell me this story. I was athletic. I was so healthy. And then I broke something. I injured something. I had to replace a hip. And then I couldn't do anything. I quit exercising. Next thing you know, I gained 50 pounds. I have diabetes, right? This is all the time I hear this story. There's exercising too much. Concussions will change your life. I've had so many patients, they couldn't work anymore. They couldn't function. And of course we got them back. I had one lady, we got her back in 6 weeks. That was a record for me. I was like, woo, 6 weeks. But yeah, so there's these things will ruin your life. Okay. This kind of stress. And then there's the chemical stress. We come into contact with 250,000 chemicals a day in the environment. PFAS, plastics, Roundup, high fructose corn syrup, heavy metals. There's so much stuff. You guys don't even know what's coming into our systems, and it's killing us. Take fatty liver. What's fatty liver, right? 100 years ago, the only people who had fatty liver were the alcoholics. They drank themselves to death. Okay. Fast forward now, everybody's got fatty liver. What's going on? And it has a new name. It's called non-alcoholic fatty, because they have to distinguish between what it was happening 100 years ago. What's coming from? The toxins. The liver's job is to get toxins out of the system. And while it's doing it, especially glyphosate, Roundup is horrible for the liver. High fructose corn syrup, horrible for the liver. As the liver's trying to get it out, it's damaging the liver and causing inflammation. When this is happening on a daily basis again and again and again and again and again and again, your liver starts to get scarring and starts storing fat. And that's where we get fatty liver, okay? And you got to understand, this is a big problem, guys. So you have to work with these underlying causes if you actually want to heal your body. You must work with these causes. You cannot just take pills and I'm cured. You got to work with these, okay? Now, we also want to work with your hormones are out of balance. We have major problems, right? We're looking at leptin. We're looking at thyroid hormone, insulin, estrogen, cortisol. Now, you don't want to you don't want to just throw hormones at people. Some people need hormones. Okay. You get a hysterectomy at age 30 and have no hormones overnight. You need to really have hormones. Okay. But people who are going through menopause naturally, they don't need hormones. I know a lot of people are pushing these, but they can be a Band-Aid. There's a feedback mechanism there that can cause major problems when you take hormones. So you need to be careful and need to know, do I really need them or not, right? Some people on thyroid hormone don't need them. It's a mineral deficiency, right? So we have to figure that out. But really, how do we fix hormones? You fix it by fixing the underlying organs. The underlying organs are in dysfunction. And when we start to get the organs to heal, work properly, what happens is hormones come back into balance beautifully. So it's a different way of doing it, but very effective if you actually want to heal your body and cure yourself, right? So we got to deal with the hormones, guys. And this is a whole list of underlying causes. We must address this. This is where our medical system's not doing so hot. They're not addressing underlying causes properly. Okay, you can see them starting to come this way because they're realizing, hey, what we're doing is not working. We see some of them coming this way, but you really got to address these things. So you can put in the chat which one of these you have. Stress, adrenal function, anemia, liver congestion, hormone imbalances, gut infections, vitamin D insufficiency, blood sugar instability, chronic inflammation, infections, insulin resistance, heavy metal toxicity, food allergies, gluten sensitivity, celiac disease, viruses. That's a lot, right? That is a lot. And we have to address these causes. When I start working with these things, all of a sudden they start better health. They're like, whoa, I'm sleeping better. I'm going to the bathroom. My pain's gone. You must address these underlying causes. Otherwise, it's not going to work well. Okay. All right. Lori, we got some stress and insulin resistance. And Lori, you probably have some you don't even know. If you have insulin resistance, you also probably have liver issues, right? Stress, you may have gut issues. That's what these things cause, right? Not even sure of all my issues. I hear you, Kimberly. Most of us aren't, right? And then we have these conditions. We go to the doctor, and what does the doctor do? What's the diagnosis? What pills do you need? That's the whole thought process. What's the diagnosis and what's the pill? They never sit there and say, what's causing this? What's causing this? Is this they don't think about that. It's not in their it's not how they're trained to think, right? And that's how Big Pharma wants us to think. It wants us to, okay, go grab a pill. I have a cold and flu. Let me go grab some Sudafed or some, I don't, what's even out these days? I don't even know anymore. NyQuil. I don't know. That's what we do. We all do that, right? And this is a quote from Medicare. It's about our insurance. It seeks to prevent disease, promote health, and prolong and enhance the quality of life, not considered medically necessary, and therefore payable. What they're saying here is whatever it takes to get you healthy, we ain't paying. They will pay for two things, pills and procedures. That's it. They'll pay for pills and surgeries. They're not going to pay for my gym membership to get healthy. They're not going to pay for my organic food. They're not going to pay for my supplements. They're not paying for that. They're going to pay for pills. I don't even have insurance anymore, guys. I have a health share that in case of emergencies, but I'm like, it's not helping me. Nobody's helping me. I take matters into my own hand with my health. And this is, I say, we're on a bit of a sinking ship, guys. It's unfortunate. It's a sick care model. We spend a lot of money on drugs, $535 billion. That was in 2018. Okay. Way more now. But this is what's happening. And just to finish the story that I started at the beginning about my dad, I told you about my dad who was on high blood pressure meds and statins. And he was very skeptical about the medical industry. He was very skeptical about me being a naturopath. And then I told you about my grandfather who died in the hospital from prostate cancer. Well, I got the call 10 years ago. My dad's PSA, his prostate marker for cancer, was up 10-fold. And of course, I knew what that meant. I was at that point and I had been dealing with prostate cancer. And so I Mom, tell him, we need to get him on a health program and la, 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 la. And she's like, well, his doctor says he needs a biopsy. And I'm like, no, 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 no. Do not get a biopsy for prostate cancer. Because now I'm educated and I know better, right? And she calls me back and she's, why do you not want to get a biopsy for prostate? Prostate cancer, that organ is hiding behind several other organs. So when you stick that needle in to pull out that cancerous tissue, you're pulling it back out through several other organs, and they end up touching the cancerous tissue to those other organs. And oftentimes you will see metastasis shortly after a prostate biopsy. Not the same with breast, right? The breast, you're going right in. There's no organs to go through. Okay, so just understand it's specifically for prostate itself. I'm trying to explain this to him. Then he didn't want to listen to me. So I got mad. I told you guys I watched my grandfather die in the hospital from prostate cancer. And I'm like, Dad, I'm a doctor now. I know what I'm talking about. So I found somebody who had gone through prostate cancer and through alternative medicine with prostate cancer. And I said, please call my dad, explain this to him because he won't listen to me. And he did. He called my dad and talked to him for 2 hours on the phone. Gave my dad the number for a guy who could diagnose it through HIFU. My dad decided not to do the biopsy. We put him on a Mediterranean diet. We did some cancer stuff. We did like wheatgrass and juicing. We did a bunch of cancer things. And so I will tell you that my dad has been cancer-free for 9 years now. Cancer-free completely. Didn't go through chemo, didn't go through radiation, changed his diet. He's off his blood pressure meds. He's off his statins. And the doctors he's turning 81 this month. And the doctors are like, wow, we haven't seen somebody with this low of a cardiovascular rate in your age. So, and now he goes around telling everybody how much naturopathic medicine saved his life, which I love. He's finally coming around for that. But yeah, so he was willing to change. That took a lot of convincing, okay, on my part, but he finally did. And that's my question to you. Are you willing to do something different? Because we need to step outside of the box if we want to actually heal our body. Amelia, I feel stressed and now I have a few aches and pains in my stomach. That sounds like IBS, Amelia, and that happens a lot. So yeah, so in order to do something different, you have to remember what's your why, right? Who do you want to do this for? I told you guys about what my why was at the beginning. I grew up suffering and I didn't need to. And so I'm over here screaming at the top of my lungs. Like now that I know, I'm like, come on, guys, you can actually do something different and heal your body. You don't have to keep taking the pills for the rest of your life. That's causing more and more side effects. And I want my dad around another 20 years. I want my mom around another 20 years. I want to be around for as long as possible with my family, right? Who do you want to be around for? You want to be around to see your kids graduate college and high school and be around to play with your grandbabies, right? We all want to do those things. None of us, I had patients, they couldn't even babysit their grandbabies because they were immobile and they were miserable and they were so upset about it. We want to be able to do all these fun things in life, right? What's your why? Who are you doing this for? That's how we break through the terror barrier. And these are the pieces: the nutrition, hormones, fitness, mentoring, detox. I'm going to go through each one of these real quick and then we'll finish up here, okay? So detox, this is the most important thing, guys. This is the best thing I do with people. Well, second best thing I do with people. Why? We've got to decrease the inflammation in the system. And so you start detoxing, you start getting that inflammation down. Within 1 to 2 weeks, my patients are calling me and they're like, I can't believe it. I'm sleeping better. I'm going to the bathroom better. My pain is gone. I have more energy. I'm losing weight. This is what I hear from almost every single person I put through a detox. And I'm like, see, and some people get addicted to it, of course. So the detox that I'm doing, you are still eating. I've done juice cleanses. I've done water. I've been detoxing people for decades. And I have now found a way where you can eat and still detox and get way better results. So this is what I do with a lot of people because it's very important. I will also teach you how to do this for yourself. Most people have no idea how to detox. They see teas they slap the name detox on stuff. Tea, they put it on teas and they put it on juices, and people drink it and they're like, my detox didn't work. Yeah, because you don't know what you're doing. All right. So I'm going to teach you how to do it. So next year you can do the detox on your own. So it's very important. The detox is super, super important. This will jumpstart you into feeling much better. Some lucky patients, everything disappears with a detox. That's not everybody, but I have had a handful of patients where everything's gone. It's awesome. So you're still eating, and you're not eating just rabbit food usually. We're not eating just lettuce and carrots, okay? And you're not going to be on the bathroom with diarrhea. You can still work and detox at the same time with this one. Okay, you also need to figure out what's the right nutrition for you, okay? What is nutrition? That which is eaten to sustain life, provide energy, and promote the growth and repair of tissues. Wonderful. Do Doritos or McDonald's hamburgers provide energy and promote the growth and repair of tissues? No, they don't. Okay, you've got to eat the right food for you and your body. Now, it doesn't mean rabbit food. All right. Now, how do we figure out what diet for you? Everybody's different. So the diet that's right for Robin is probably not the diet that's right for Amelia, is probably not the diet that's right for me, right? What I do, quite a few things, but the biggest piece that I identify your food intolerance. What is a food intolerance? It's a food your body cannot digest. When I took mine out overnight, I started dropping weight and my IBS completely disappeared. And the only time I have IBS issues is when I eat that food again, which I don't do very often. I lost 30 pounds in a year without dieting just by taking out my food intolerance, okay? So this, and I can sit here and tell you miracle story after miracle story. We don't have time for that with my patients, but what I want you to understand of this is most doctors out there are not identifying your food intolerance. They're identifying food sensitivities. Very different. Allergies, sensitivities, food intolerances. A sensitivity is when your gut is inflamed. You've been taking antibiotics, drinking alcohol, drinking soda, putting a lot of stuff into your gut. Antibiotics is killing all the bacteria. You get dysbiosis. Your gut becomes inflamed. It starts creating sensitivities to foods you eat all the time. So taking those out will help temporarily, but then that's going to change. Sensitivities change. So you really need to identify the food intolerance. That does not change. Okay. So understand that this is super, super important and a key to get her. Okay. So we identify the food intolerance, get that out. You do want to be strict while you're healing up. Once you're healed up, you will be able to go out and enjoy a glass of wine here or go out to dinner with your friends. It's not stuff you want to be doing every day, but that is stuff you'll be able to do here and there. And you just want to watch food intolerance. Okay, so fitness is super important. You got to move, guys. If you aren't moving, you're going to lose it. Okay, it doesn't mean you need to throw tires in CrossFit and stand on your head. Okay, we need to figure. You can do stuff like hiking and dancing and swimming. There's so many different things you can do. You don't have to go to the gym if you hate the gym, right? But we need to figure out what's right for you and what's right for your goals, right? What do you want to actually see happen in your body? If you want to do weight loss, walking every day is never going to get you there. It will not. Walking does not push weight loss. Not going to happen. And you see people all the time, but I walk every day. Okay, great. That's great for mobility, but you're not going to lose weight. You got to do stuff that pushes weight loss, right? So understanding that hormones, looking at your hormones, we need to see what's going on with these. So we can know what organs are in dysfunction and we can know what organs to fix. Okay. How do we know? We test, we don't guess. Okay. And then there's the mentoring, having somebody there who's been there, done that to help you do this. Hold your hand. I can read a book about how to pilot an airplane. It doesn't mean you're going to get an airplane with me while I try to fly it, right? You want somebody who's done it to show you how to do it. Somebody who has experience. And that's where the mentoring comes in. To determine an underlying cause, create a unique plan, educate and empower you, guide you through your journey, hold you accountable, encourage, and celebrate with you. So that's my biggest piece of advice tonight. And this can be in any area in your life, financial or school or whatever. Get a mentor. I learned this the hard way. And now I have 3 in different areas. Okay. It's the best thing I ever did in my life. So it's a customized, all-inclusive program. And these are the pieces: the nutrition, the fitness, the hormones, the mentoring, and the detox. Guys, you must do all of these. You cannot just do one piece. This is why this works. All right. I have people, if I had $1 for every time somebody comes in and tells me, but I work out every day, why am I still gaining weight? Well, you're not eating the right nutrition. You haven't identified your food intolerance. Your hormones aren't balanced. You're not detoxing your liver, and you don't have somebody to show you how to do all this. When you put all this together, that is how I get these huge health transformations pretty quickly. Okay. And we see results within 1 to 2 weeks. And that's not a lie. That is the truth. You can ask my patients, right? This is how we get on this boat and get off that sinking ship. It's about taking crisis and turning it into an opportunity. Tell me and I may remember, show me and I will remember, involve me and I will understand. You must be involved in this process. I cannot do this for you. So guys, I hope you understand after this long talk we've had, now is the time to get your health off the back burner. Make it a priority. I promise you will never regret the day you do that. I never have regretted the day that I started taking care of my health and got myself. I was really bad. I know I didn't tell you this, but I had a very severe mold exposure, ended up with chronic fatigue. I couldn't get off the couch. I couldn't go to work. Guess what happens when you can't go to work? Yeah, guess what? So, and I'm here with you. So you can heal from stuff like that. Okay. And I've worked with many different people from many different walks of life. And I've worked overseas with all kinds of different ethnicities, doing these health programs with people. And I've seen so many people be able to do this and get better. If they can do this, you most certainly can do this. If I can do this, you can do this. Okay. So, and just one last story before I end here. This is Joan. I love Joan's story because Joan came in. She looked awful. She was so depressed because she was in nonstop pain. She was in so much pain. She had arthritis everywhere, swelling everywhere. She was in so much pain she couldn't sleep at night. So she was exhausted during the day, could barely make it through work. And then her leg was becoming paralyzed. This was really weird, okay? She was having to pick up her leg, put it in her pants. She was having to drag it around the house. She was going to the doctors, and the doctors were telling her, we checked your brain, nothing's wrong. And I'm like, Joan, something's wrong. You don't just get a paralyzed leg. That's really, something's definitely wrong here. So anyway, so I work with her, and 6 weeks later, she comes in and she's a different person. I don't even recognize her. She's got bangs cut, new hairstyle. She's got a smile from ear to ear with red lipstick on, makeup, and she's all happy now. And she's telling about how she's going to see her grandkids in these other states, and she's going to go travel, and she was so excited. All her pain was gone. All the swelling was gone. She was losing weight. Her energy was back, and she was sleeping again, and her leg was working like normal. How cool is that? Her leg was back to normal. How awesome is that? So that was really cool to see. I love sharing stories like this because it's awesome to see that. So guys, this is your chance to change, but you got to take the step. Okay. And this is the catch. You can't just sit along for the ride. All right. You got to do some work. So what's next? So I did say that I was going to put up a link for you. You should see where it says book a free call, snag your spot, if you want to chat with me on the phone. So this is a free 15-minute call. And what we're going to do is jump on the phone and we'll have a chat. We'll see what are you experiencing? What's going on? What's happening with you? What are you doing for it? What's working? What's not working? And we're going to see if I can help you. And if I can help you, then I'll tell you a little bit more about what I do personally as a Vitalist naturopath and how I get people better. And then we can talk about the next step if you want to work with me. Now, the next step is a wellness evaluation. So the wellness evaluation, that's an 1.5-hour appointment if you decide to move into that. And for that appointment, I'm going to send you paperwork. You're going to fill that in really good. And we'll set up we'll schedule either a Zoom call if you live too far away, or we can do it in person. You bring your spouse with you, and then you send your paperwork back to me. I'm going to review that before you can. And then I'm going to come up with a plan of action for you. And we are going to discuss that at your appointment. We're going to take a deeper dive into what's going on, make sure we didn't miss anything, because sometimes that changes what I have in mind to do with. Everybody's different. Okay. And then we're going to talk about some options to move forward, and we'll see, is this a good fit? Should we work together? Can I take your kid on? Is this the right path for both of us to go down? So a call, it's normally $287. It's an hour and a half appointment. For the call is free. The 15-minute call is free. Hour and a half appointment, the wellness evaluation. It's normally $287, and I've discounted it to $87 for you guys. So that's the process if you want to work with me. Awesome. So that's what that looks like. So guys, I just want you to remember, this is all about you. Nobody else can do this for you. Your husband, your spouse, your wife, whoever, your children, nobody can take care of your health for you. Nobody can eat healthy for you. Nobody can exercise for you. You have to take this step. If you don't take this step, you're going to end up with something happening. It's just the way it works, right? So just remember, you got to take the steps for yourself. And guys, we are in a much different world. Most people are not going to just go buy them off the shelf and fix their health problems. We're very toxic. We are living in a world we never lived in before. And people are very ill. And it's not as simple as just going by, I'm just going to go get some vitamin C off or some vitamin D off the shelf. It's not that simple anymore. It was 20, 30 years ago, not anymore. Cases are very complex. I can say that just in my last couple of working as a doctor, I've seen changes. Before we'd do like one little thing with people and they'd come back, oh my God, I feel so much better. That's how people are on the detox, because that's the biggest thing you need to do is detox. Anyway, getting off on a tangent here. This is where we don't want to end up. None of us want to be here. Okay. Change now. Get your health off the back burner. Make it a priority before you end up here. You got to do it. Okay. And so you have, I put up the link for the call. And so what I just want to show you here is, so what you can do is just click on that. In the next 2 days, I have some times set aside for you if you want to jump on with me. Don't book a call if you're not going to answer, please. It's not nice and it's very rude. We're wasting both of our times when we do that. But so book a call, and then you have to put all this information in. I know it's a bit weird because they ask for your phone number twice. They do that because they want a mobile. I used to live overseas, so we call it mobile. They want your cell phone number. And so that way, they can send you a reminder of the number I'm calling from and of the time of your appointment. This will not spam you. I promise. This is not a marketing spammy number. This is just for this call. Okay. So guys, thank you so much for being on tonight. I really appreciate it. I do want to answer a few questions that I get all the time before I jump off here. And then I hope to talk to you guys on the calls. So some of the questions I get, a lot of people ask me, can I help everyone? So unfortunately, I work with a lot of people, and I don't do protocols, guys. I'm not you go to a lot of functional docs, they throw protocol at you. This is the protocol for this. This is the protocol. I don't do that. I treat people. And so I have to put a lot of time, attention, and detail into my patients because it's very individualized. I have 4 people walking with eczema. I do something different for all of them. Okay. So understand that there's a lot that goes into this. So I'm looking for people who are ready to make some changes. If you're the kind of person where I am not ready to make a change, I don't have time, I'm too busy, all I want is a magic pill, cool. There's no judgment here. I can't offer that for you. I'm not saying I don't have tricks up my sleeve. Of course I have tricks up my sleeve, but this is really about empowering you to learn how to take your health into your own hands and get your health back. That's what this is about. So you got to be willing to make a few changes. Okay. Now, another question I get is, do I take insurance? So unfortunately, in the state of Colorado, No insurance companies will cover naturopathic doctors. So yes, this is something you are going to have to invest in. You need to invest in yourself. You need to invest in your health if you actually want to change that. And that means time, money, resources, all of it. And so we have to break outside of this paradigm that if you're waiting for insurance companies to fix you and heal you, it's never going to happen. You are going to be in the grave before that ever happens. They are not going to, they pay for pills and procedures. That's it. They don't pay for you to get healthy. You know, that unless you got the Cadillac of all insurance companies that actually pays for acupuncture and different things, they're not going to do that. They're going to give you pills and cut stuff out. That's it. So understand that. So you got to break outside of that. I'm waiting for insurance to cover everything. And you got to invest in yourself. I spend my money on my health. Why? I told you guys I had a mold exposure. I was extremely sick. I couldn't get off the couch. I'm not going to live like that ever again. So what do? Yeah, I put money into my health because I'm not going there again. I don't want to go back there. And I know how it is to lose your health. And unfortunately, it is a sad, sad thing. So, yeah, can I find the food intolerances? Yeah, we do find the food intolerances, Kimberly. We do that through blood. So, okay, guys, thank you, ladies and gents. Thank you so much for being on tonight. I really appreciate it. I hope to talk to you on the phone. Have a great evening.